Hi, this is Zach here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Saturday, the 16th of August, a big day for Elvis fans. Starting off with the S&P, where you can see that we're still floating above the old record high there at the end of last month, 64.27. Above that on an end-of-day close basis, still hoping for a move up to the top of that rising trend channel from April, 67.10 or 67 plus at least by the end of next month. An end-of-day close back below 64.27 could risk, though, a move down to the floor of the channel, 63.60. The negative sign at the moment is the way that we've had new highs for August, but a much lower RSI trace. So that negative divergence could be a sign that we're getting a little bit tired, but obviously things depend on the immediate reaction to Russia-Ukraine. Lowest rug pull level at the moment seen as being at the 50-day line at 62.27. We haven't been below the 50-day line since the end of April, which is one hell of a move. Moving on to the Nasdaq, which, if anything else, is actually in a stronger place than, or was in a stronger place than the S&P. What's interesting now is that we've got the equivalent level, the late July peak there, 23. Let's call it 23,600, and we've managed to close above that, even with the negative move that we had on Friday. Still looking for a proper move towards the top of the channel there, 24,000, and end of day or a weekly close above 24,000 give us a fresh move up to 25,500, which is a late January resistance line projection. On the downside, and we obviously are wary of that, the floor of the channel and the 50-day line currently around 22,600. So that could be the place for this market to go. Once again, we've got negative or bearish divergence there with the higher highs for August and lower RSI trace, but that might be just an early bird situation for the bears. Moving along to the situation in terms of the stocks, and starting off with one that hopefully will have a decent move, Atlantic International. Here you can see that we managed to break through our initial target, which was around the 200-day moving average and the top of that falling trend channel from the end of April. So that was around the $3.70 level, the 200-day line 377. I managed to close also above the old April resistance there, around $4.60, and above that, looking for the top of that broadening triangle there from January as high as $7 by the end of next month or even sooner. So, I mean, a very strong push for that stock over recent days. The rally was foretold by bullish divergence in this case, so we went much lower for the beginning of August, but the RSI basically around the same level. So there was a bullish divergence situation to start that rally. Moving along to another stock which hopefully will have legs, and it is a Fossil Group. Here you can see that with a rising trend channel there, probably the top of the channel a little bit higher than I've actually drawn initially. It seems to have slipped down a bit, but it's actually heading towards the $4 level, in fact, almost precisely to the $4 level. Looking for that by the end of next month, giving it a bit of time and looking for that while we're above the old December peak there around $2.60, so giving it quite a lot of wiggle room ahead of the $4 target. Ideally, we actually get to the $4 level by the end of next month. The rally started with a couple of RSI 50 rebounds, one just below that, and worked very well as a leading indicator on the upside. Stock which I think is new to us is Immuneering, and Immuneering, yes, right. And here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel there from March. Top of the channel there, heading for $5.30, and we're looking at that by the end of next month, especially while we remain above the 50-day moving average at $3.34 rather, over the next few days. RSI is pushed above neutral 50 as well, so that's given a bit of a push in terms of the momentum, and obviously we bounced off the floor of that rising trend channel, the support line there towards $2.90. Moving on to another situation which hopefully will prove the bears wrong, and it is Karyopharm. And here you can see that we've got this rising trend channel base. The floor of the channel, I suppose, a bit controversial in the sense that it's basically the support on Friday, which was $4.67. Above that, we're looking for the top of that rising trend channel base as high as $8.50 by the end of next month, or hopefully a bit sooner. The old resistance on the way down was around the $5.60 level, so ideally we'd like to stay above that on an end of day close basis prior to the move through towards $8.50. We've looked at the next stock quite recently, and here you can see that Matinas doing well, in fact, exceeding expectations. We were only looking for the shares to head to the top of that rising trend channel at $2. We managed to close well above it on Friday, although we went up towards the $3 level. Next level up here will be the upper parallel of that rising trend channel base, and looking for, I suppose, if that's the parallel area, up to $4. $3.80 maybe to be safe by the end of next month. But the key here is we stay above the recent resistance there around the $1.85 level. I think that would be a important requisite for a potential move to the upside. You can see that there is major resistance for the shares towards $4, so that will need to be negotiated over the near term. Moving along the list, and we've got Precigen next, which is Precigen, and Precigen, in fact, to its friends. Here you can see that we've managed to hit the second target there, which was the upper parallel of the rising trend channel there from August last year. The level in question around $3.40, so full marks there. Ideally, the situation now is that while we're above the old target, $2.70, we make a retest of the Friday peak, just shy of $3.50. But very strong chart there in the sense that the low Friday and the previous peaks, there was about 30 cents in that, so that is quite impressive. On to another situation which we've covered quite recently, the poetically named Sunrun. And here we've got the shares approaching the top of the initial, the rising trend channel there around $15.50. That hopefully will be hit in coming days, and then we can look forward to the upper parallel of that rising trend channel, which at the moment is heading towards the $20.70 level. I suppose that makes for a good target for the end of September. The other thing to notice is there was a very strong RSI 50 rebound on Thursday, Friday to take the shares up. We had one previously before the gap, but I think that was a rather better indicator of a move to the upside. In terms of the downside, we want to see the shares stay above recent broken resistance around the $12.75 area. The next situation coming up and looking decent is hopefully one that we can enjoy over the near term, and it comes in the form of one of the best winners of the recent past, Verb technology. Here we've got a V-shaped or U-shaped turnaround there, which tends to be a very strong one, especially after an unfilled gap to the upside. Looking for the shares, I suppose, to clear recent resistance around the $23.50 level, 54 in fact to be precise. Above that, looking for $35 by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay on the right side now of $20. I think that would be a minimum requirement. The other point to notice is that we've had multiple RSI 50 plus rebounds since the beginning of July. So the first one there, and then several there. So this looks like a very strong situation. Next up is Wheels Up, and here rising trend channel base, top of the channel there, heading for $2.15. Hopefully we'll get that sometime next week, maybe the top of the channel there, a little bit higher than I've drawn, so up to $2.20. And looking for $2.20 while we're above recent broken resistance at the $1.70 level, and hoping that that will stay in place on an end-of-day close basis. Another RSI 50 situation, RSI 50 rebound situation for that one. Finishing off with Xunlei, and here you can see that we've had two consecutive gaps to the upside today. Top of the channel there up to $8, which is presumably where the shares are trying to go. The target there hopefully will be hit by the end of this month, while there's no end-of-day close back below the floor of the gap there at around the $5.58 level. So let's see if Xunlei can step up to the plate. That's it for me today. More updates during the week.